Awesome. Hi, everyone. Very warm welcome to the first Employee Center Academy of 2024. I was monitoring the chat. I hope you're all staying warm. It's pretty cold here in Santa Clara, California. I hope you are all like tucked in and staying warm while listening to this Academy session. My name is Pooja Gupta. I'm your host for this session today. I'm a senior manager of outbound product management within the Unified Employee Experience product suite within ServiceNow. Let me give you a little bit more context or introduction to Employee Center Academy. I know many of you on the call today may be joining us for the first time, and I want to extend you really warm greetings for that. Employee Center Academy is a series of monthly events that is hosted by the product team. And essentially, what we do in these monthly events is we deep dive into certain capabilities or we deep dive into certain challenges or barriers that you face as you are deploying and scaling and getting value from your Employee Center portal. You can see a preview of the kind of topics that we have done in past on the green box on the right, and you can access all the upcoming and past sessions via community via the link shared on the screen. We will also be sharing this on chat. And these sessions are super helpful. That's why we make the recordings for this available on YouTube. So don't worry about taking notes, just listen in today and you can go back and review this on YouTube later on. Now, a few ground rules for this academy. Now, these sessions are essentially for you to ask your questions and interact. We bring in experts from ServiceNow through in all these sessions, and this is your time with them to ask your questions and interact. So please make good use of this session to make sure your voice is heard. How do you do that? We have two options. One is the Q&A panel, one is the chat. Reserve the Q&A panel for all your questions. We have a strong set of panelists who will be helping us on this event, and they will be monitoring the Q&A panel for questions. If you have comments, you want to chat with your fellow participants, use the chat panel for that. Yeah, and I love to see the chat being super active, so please do use that, but keep your questions in the Q&A panel. And like I said, the recording for this will be available. The slides for this will also be available on community. In fact, we even make the questions that are being asked shared via community. So I would highly recommend you to go back on community and review the event page to see all the information about the event today kind of surfaced up back on that community. Last but not the least, I want to highlight this is a monthly series is what I said. And once you register for it, you register for all of these. So that's a good thing. So expect to have another session in your calendar for next month. Let's talk about what we will be covering today. So the topic for today is organizational change management. And this is one of the most important factors in driving adoption. So we will deep dive into what are the key elements of driving adoption. I'll double click into organizational change management with a now and now story. So I actually have two presenters, two experts from the digital technology experience team within ServiceNow. This is our in-house portal expert team, and I will not spend too much time introducing them because they will do that. Padma and Deepika, thank you so much for joining. Padma, you want to say hi, and Deepika, then you can just follow on and introduce yourself.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Padma Jinka. I'm product manager in employee experience team, and our job is to create aha moments for our employees. Yeah, I'm excited to talk and share our learnings today.
Hello,
Thanks, Padma.
everyone. This is Deepika Dahiya. I lead the My ServiceNow product management team internally in ServiceNow. My ServiceNow is our internal employee portal as well as mobile experiences. A very fulfilling 2024 to all of you. We can still say Happy New Year, right? We are just middle of January. We were just discussing before the webinar started. So looking forward to interacting with all of you today.
Awesome. Thank you, Deepika. And I want to set one more rule. Please limit your questions for the session today on this topic. We want to hear more on the My ServiceNow story and learn from how they drive adoption within. So, Deepika, I'll hand it over to you to just give us an introduction to driving adoption and deep dive into what does it really mean to activate change.
Absolutely. So the adoption, it actually all starts with zeroing in on the right user problems to solve. So being part of the product team, we make sure that we are keeping our eyes and ears open. We are super aligned with what our users are feeling, what are their pain points. And it might come to us in various feedback forms, be it our employee satisfaction survey comments, be the direct feedback on our channels, or anecdotal feedbacks, or employee voice surveys. There are various forums from where we hear what our users are saying. At the same time, we partner very closely with our user experience and research teams to go and really double click on certain symptoms that we are seeing overall in the user population. But it all just boils down to, have we identified the correct problem to solve? So if we have done that, like in my head, half of the battle is won. Once we have identified the problem, we go back and really double, triple confirm with our users that yes, this is truly the right problem. We are going in the right direction. We are investing our resources in the right problem to solve. And once that's done, then it moves over to really how to solve it. And then even the how part, the solutioning part, it is very important to keep our users' point of view in mind. My ServiceNow or Employee Center being that horizontal layer where features, services, and content is hosted by multiple stakeholders, be it our IT teams, be it our communications team, or legal, finance. It's a horizontal platform where all corporate functions host their services, host their content, and our goal and aim is to make it as an integrated layer. It's very important that we also keep that user point of view in mind rather than getting lost with what all our stakeholders are asking and trying to do. Absolutely, we are looking at what business value we are trying to drive, but at the same time, it needs to solve user pain points. So when we are creating the solution for that problem, we really go back and check with our users and look at really the wireframes, the designs, that all that's resonating with the users. Our designs or our solutions are intuitive enough. So when we have reached that point that we are really confident our solutions are intuitive, then we get into that enablement, that activation, that organization change management. And for our users who are already using the product, organic growth happens. Like our segments that are already using Employee Center, our portal and mobile experiences, we launch a new intuitive feature. Yes, they see value and then they adopt it. But if we need to acquire a segment that's not on our platform, is not on Employee Center yet, then we really activate our inorganic value stream. Here we partner with organization change management, our global communications team, and we really look at what is the release or what is the feature we are trying to deploy and which segment. Like if we are going after our new hire persona, we really make sure that we partner with our new hire orientation team. It's in our HR space, there are dedicated teams working to make sure the new hire experiences are great. If we are really targeting a sales feature, we work with our sales enablement team. We work with an organizational change management team. And it also depends on, again, the user segment, what type of creative marketing would work, right? Leadership alignment needs to happen because when you're going to the user, it's a proven fact that top down helps. So if you're really driving value and our users hear it from their leaders or from certain influential stakeholders, they will at least try it out once. So we look at various ways on how can we activate that change. Ecosystem alignment also needs to happen. Then we look at digital enablement, like while they are in the platform, how do we really highlight the new key features? If they are working in our collaboration environment, like maybe currently we use Microsoft Teams, how can we highlight certain key features there? If they are in office, can we use digital signage? So these are all different type of methods that we use for inorganic adoption. So, and once we feel like, okay, we have done enough, like both from an organic standpoint and inorganic standpoint, like we have taken like a month or two, have run our campaigns, top-down communication has happened, post-launch campaigns we have done, then we go back and measure. Measurement is really, really important at various levels. So all the feature or the release that you are going after, you need to really define what success looks like for this release or for this product feature adoption. And you go back and you measure it. So analytics is really a foundational layer in overall organization change management as well as activation. So once you have that, you measure it. So that's all about like overall adoption being the outcome of all the good work that the product and the engineering team does. I'll quickly want to take you over a plan. Pooja, if you can move to the next slide. Like, what does a change plan look like? Like, how do we really start from assessing the change? And we include our organization change management right from start. So when I say we, I mean product team. We really take them through that this is the pain point we are trying to resolve. This is our current state. This is the future state where we are trying to go. And a very important activity in the initial change assessment is identifying the right stakeholders. Again, because Employee Center is so horizontal, we need to truly identify who are the impacted stakeholders. We need to get their buy-in, we need to get their alignment, and at the same time need to identify the detractors, if any. Like if you're trying to move this and the way of working is changing for certain segment of the population or stakeholder, how do we influence them? How do we bring them on board? So that when that's done, we have identified the stakeholder. The next step is really leadership alignment. Like, how do we align? And it's all driven by business value. If you have the right business value, people will lap up the change. Yes. So they feel like, yes, this is going to materially improve the way our employees work. It will bring them productivity. It will improve connectivity of the employees. That would resonate. So once we have got leadership alignment, then we create a communication plan, cascading down information about the change through in various forums. As I mentioned, it can be our communications tools, it can be a collaboration tool. You might use your digital signage, you might use your digital adoption platforms, working closely with different stakeholders. Then you execute on that plan. And once that plan is executed, you make sure you assess like how many of your targeted user are aware of the change, how many of them are adopting it. If required, you will double down on further training and post change communication, and then we'll keep on measuring. So that's how you overall build the change plan and deliverables. And if any specific questions, we can take it up later. With that, I'll hand over to Padma.
Thank you, Deepika. Now, just to paraphrase, there were three things that we spoke about, that Deepika spoke about. One was making sure you have the right product, so you're solving for the right needs. Second was activating the change, and you saw a whole change plan for that, which is done in tandem with the change management team in your organization. So if you don't have one, maybe the change plan that Deepika shared could be used as a starting point. But typically, you would see it's a big change for organizations, so you should be working with a change management expert within your organization. And last but not the least, Deepika also spoke about measuring success and the impact of change. And whether people are actually adopting or not. So you kind of need to have the right metrics in place for that too. Now, we will hear all of this come to life with a story on how ServiceNow launched the My ServiceNow portal and is driving adoption of that portal within ServiceNow. This is both Padma and Deepika's baby. So I will let Padma describe the story and take you on that journey. Padma, over to you.
Sure. Let me take the screen, Pooja. Okay, hope you can see my screen.
Yes, all good.
All good. Okay. So mid of last year, we have launched My Service Now. So I'll be covering really deep diving into what this change really mean to our employees, how we, dealt with this change and able to successfully drive the adoption with this change. Okay. Before that, a quick intro of what is My Service Now. My ServiceNow is ServiceNow Employee Center or Employee Portal. It's the go-to place for all our employee needs, be it finding information, getting help, or completing their day-to-day tasks, discovering new people and engaging with them, grow themselves in their career, upskilling, reskilling, or staying up to date on the company news and the priorities. I would say in a single line, this is a one-stop shop for anything an employee needs. Whatever the phase they are in, the entire life cycle of an employee, it starts from the day of onboarding. Yeah. A little more introduction about, my employee experience in My ServiceNow. So we offer employee experience on multiple channels. What we learned from our employees is it's not something, one size fits all. Our engineering team, they prefer to have a portal always accessible, through a default web page on their browsers. Whereas our sales or solution consulting, who is always traveling, they prefer to have something that is accessible on the go on their fingertips. That is why we found that My ServiceNow is all about creating that unified and true multi-channel experiences and meeting our employees where they are. With that, I'll move to our rebranding story. First of all, why did we, this is a big change, right? Why did we do that? So we wanted to create a brand identity that our employees love. And that can, a corporate brand identity that our employees can easily resonate with, increase the credibility and make it as a go-to place for learning and, the growth opportunities. And finally, we wanted to promote product adoption. As part of this rebranding, we had to make multiple product changes. So let me talk about them first. First, on the portal, it is we introduced a new vanity URL, my.servicenow.com, and routed the entire traffic to this URL. This change is little subtle in a way, given that all the existing URLs will also continue to work. When user clicks on the existing URL, will be silently redirecting to the new URL. But whereas it comes to the mobile, you use the mobile publishing feature to launch our custom version of Now mobile app with new name and icon, and we made this available to all in the app store so that our employees can easily download. So when you go now to the app store, you'll find My Service Now and Now mobile, two different applications. And My Service Now is for our employees, whereas Now mobile is for all our customers. The impact is big, given that the employees are expected to download the new mobile app, and the existing app will not work anymore. They'll stop receiving the push notifications on the old app, and this is going to have a bigger the business impact if you are not driving the change correctly, right? Sounds like a big change, right? Let me take a pause here, answer any questions related to what we have done in the product before I move on and talk about how we enable this transformation.
Thanks, Padma. I think one thing that we should clarify is like the screens may have a little bit of custom widgets, and that's because internally we do use the My portal, the My ServiceNow portal as our field of experimentation and to show the art of possible. So I did see a question on some of the widgets that they are seeing. You may see them to be different from what is available out of box, and that is to be expected in this portal.
Yeah.
Thank you, Padma.
Okay. Okay, with that, let's move on and talk about how we dealt with the change management. Okay, when we talk about rebranding, we did not really, limit to only just name change. We tied up with bunch of, product improvements to deliver that value to the our employees. We optimize the performance through CDN implementation. We harmonize the experience across mobile and portal, and really position My Service Now, to access My Service Now mobile and portals are just a means, and the features, the experience doesn't really change between these two channels. We replaced Solar with powerful AI search, and we took this as an opportunity to reposition and reinforce the overall value proposition of My Service Now. As part of this change, we partnered with bunch of stakeholders. We partnered with content champions to update the URL and the URL references, the names in all the collaterals, starting from new hire, the KB articles, wherever there is anything related to employee portal or Now mobile, we made sure that we have updated all those collaterals. We updated the managed bookmarks so that whenever employee go to the browser bookmarks, they'll see all the new change reflected over there. We created multiple forums to communicate this change to our employees. We used, in-app as well as other forums to inform about this change. We created attention screens on the mobile, to bring awareness about the launch date and the action required by the employee. We sent push notification in advance, a week advance of the change, and we used model pop-up to communicate about this change. We partnered with leadership to cascade this information and bring awareness. We enabled L1 support and as well as the white glove support team to enable and bring awareness on why we are making this change. First of all, what is the impact, what does it mean to them, and what is the required action from them among all the VPs and above, and also ensuring that their systems are all set up for this change. So these leaders will in a way indirectly influence their all the direct and indirect reportees, and will endorse the change. So they act as a key player in the overall change management. So we ran multiple awareness programs such as publishing screensavers, digital signages in all the public spaces of office, and made sure that we provided, all the easy ways for employees to download the new app and learn about this change. We provided a QR code, so that they can easily scan the QR code and download the mobile app without hassle. This is all what we have done on the change. Now coming to, how we monitored. So we closely monitored all the issues reported and how the adoption is progressing across, various group. If in any way, group, if the adoption is low, what we have done is we launched a targeted campaigns to make sure that, the change is reaching to their ears and they are taking the action required. With all this effort, we are able to, drive the adoption of new mobile app by 40% in the first month, which is like, 10,000 of our employees downloaded. We baselined at 25%, so 40% is definitely a big win for us. Okay. Then before I move on to, this is all one time, right? Whatever I spoke so far, it is all rebranding is a one-time effort. So, but when it comes to driving adoption, it has to be a continuous process. So before I delve into the details of, what are the strategies that we use on a regular basis in order to drive adoption, any questions on, how we dealt with rebranding?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of questions, Padma, but the questions are right now more focused on understanding the landscape. So maybe I can just clarify a couple of things. So the Now Mobile app that you see over here is for employees. It is similar to the Now Mobile application that is available for all customers out of box. Um, and the out of box experience is also designed to be for employees use and is tied with Employee Center. Um, so Padma, most questions that were coming were around the change that was happening from a mobile standpoint. So based on what I understand, it was essentially a rebranding of mobile, but they had to re-download the app, correct?
That's right. So as part of this, we used a mobile publishing feature. It is basically, you are launching a new client without any change on the server side.
Awesome. Thanks for clarifying that, Padma. Yeah, I'm not seeing too many questions around the change management aspect of it, the actions. But those on the call, if you have any questions around how we are managing the change or any questions on the steps that we took to activate the change, please do ask your questions. Let's keep going, Padma.
Thank you, Pooja. Okay. So no matter how much excitement we have created with My ServiceNow launch, we feel, this is a continuous effort and it has to be consistent as part of our day-to-day strategy. So I'll talk about, the different techniques that we find effective in driving adoption organically. The first one is, unless whatever the great feature we launch, unless user is aware of that feature and the value addition of that feature, they will not adopt for that. So what we do for that is, we use in-app as a channel to inform what's new. Let me share like what is that what's new experience. So what's new is all about bringing awareness of newly launched features and as well as generating excitement for upcoming innovations. For that, what we built is a product updates page. This page is a centralized, for all the product updates featuring both what's new as well as what's coming soon. It provides an overview of all newly launched features, showcasing the value and the benefits in a user-friendly language. So when I say user-friendly language, it really, showcases the value and the benefit for the end user. We update this page on a monthly cadence, compiling the list of all features released in that month. Whenever there is a new post available on this page, what we use is we also communicate, using a model pop-up, highlighting some major features released in that month with a deep link to this product updates page. Additionally, user can also access what's new page from a menu link that is already, always available on the portal or from the mobile app. So this is one of the technique that we use. And moving to the next one. So if we are launching something of a complex feature or a new workflow, we use interactive walkthroughs. So these interactive walkthroughs really help, providing a step-to-step guide and educating them how to use the feature and discover the feature by themselves. Let me share one example on the UX, like how we have dealt, with interactive walkthroughs. So this is the recent example. We moved to out-of-the-box feature manager hub from our custom version. So when we are launching this, since manager hub is bundled with plenty of features, we felt interactive walkthroughs is the right way to enable the user on this, the overall manager hub. So we use interactive walkthroughs talking about different tabs, the features, what is the value addition, how they can use them, all to educate and also familiarize the user with this UI. Moving on to the third strategy, gamification. Gamification is all about, using gaming elements in non-game environment. So what we used is, this is a powerful tool in order to increase adoption and engagement. It is to incentivize our employees, other way to use gamification is really to incentivize our employees to complete mandatory trainings, a complements trainings where it requires, slightly push. They are not really motivated to do all by themselves. It needs some extrinsic, influence in order to complete them. We are still piloting and we are quite early in this journey. We have used gamification in two areas. One is on the maintaining the security health, where employees are slightly little motivated. And the next is, kudos leaderboard. So basically here in the kudos leaderboard, we wanted to encourage employee recognition and we wanted our employees to celebrate, other success. And for that, we introduced Kudos Leadership, Kudos Leaderboard, where employees are now recognized for performing well and as well as appreciating and shouting out for other success. This is, creating a friendly competition where they can come out and check, where they are on the leadership board and as well as try to compete against the players in this board. Okay. And the fourth technique that I would say is, what we learned from our study is not all our user needs or groups have the same interest and the needs. So it is essential to build a targeted messaging by focusing on the features and the benefits that truly resonate with their specific needs and interests. For example, let me take a couple of user groups that we focus with my ServiceNow. New hire for them, it is all to emphasis on this is the place to go to complete their onboarding tasks or familiarize themselves with policies, systems, people, company culture, the values. That is what they care at that point of the time. So emphasizing on that and establishing my ServiceNow as a go-to place really plays a great role. And the next persona that we target is the people manager. So for them, instead of generically highlighting all the capabilities of my ServiceNow, we highlight, the approval center, a unified place for them to go and manage all their approvals, or the manager hub. So, manager hub is a go-to place to find all the resources required to successfully manage their team. So that is how we position for people manager. Let me take another example. For sales, we position mobile first because by nature, they're always traveling. For them, more than the portal, mobile excites. So we talk in the language of them saying like, okay, we have launched features with a mobile first approach, really positioning and targeting that specific user group. And this is a great technique. What we missed today is like, we do really a great job in enabling and trying to, set up things for the end user. But the area that I wanted to focus is how important it is to train and create champions within the internal, the team who can facilitate this change as well as endorse. So we conduct multiple training sessions to increase the depth and breadth of knowledge. Let me take an example, what I mean by this. So given that my service now is a horizontal layer and there are multiple corporate functions, that host their features and the content, it is super important if you are introducing anything a horizontal feature, we ensure that all the internal stakeholders are enabled with the change and the feature so that they adopt. Ultimately, the success of this feature will rely on both adoption of these stakeholders as well as the end user. Hope this makes sense. And the last one that I wanted to call out is push notifications. We use push notifications to keep the user informed on an important update or the task. And the push notifications again can do wonders in enterprise world as they do with consumer world in order to grab attention and keep users coming back to the app. But the key that I wanted to highlight here is do not overburden the user with the irrelevant notifications or notifications that are unimportant to them at that point of time. So this is key to use this strategy as a key driver for adoption. If you are going to bombard the user with irrelevant notification, it might slightly backfire. That user might lose interest in the application and turn off the push notifications altogether. Make sure that whenever you are using push notification as a strategy to drive adoption, that the push notifications are of high quality and really getting the user attention. So these are the techniques that I wanted to share. Any questions?
Yes, Padma, the Q&A panel has been buzzing.
Okay,
So
let's do that.
yeah, so so a lot of questions on how we created the experiences that you walked through, so we can go through that. But before then, I wanted to pick up another question. So the question is, how did you manage the different departmental stakeholders during the rollout? How did you prioritize whose messages would appear in what's new? Were all the departments on board? How did you build this united front end? So that's exactly like honing into number 5 and also talking about how you are essentially creating that front end experience and working through them, not just for enabling them, but working with them continuously.
Yeah,
Let me
that's it.
let me just take that. Yeah. So Padma, we can talk about this specific example, but I just want to ground everybody. Any implementation team or product team working on employee center would be resonating with this challenge because we work with multiple stakeholders and every stakeholder have their own priorities, needs. So it's not just a change management problem, it's an overall prioritization problem. When you even pick up features to prioritize and go in, and it might go in from my widget needs to stay on top or the other widget needs to go in down, why I have to take double click for my feature. So it really helps if you have a governance structure in place, both for content governance as well as overall. We have a steering committee that has representation from all of our corporate functions, be it IT, finance, HR, legal, communications. And the employee center is, so we own the platform and the experience overall, but we do work with all of these stakeholders where we show them the roadmap, how we are looking at all from user angle. Like it is not a stakeholder angle, it's very important to put that user cap on. So that helps having a ride model, really, that what are the teams who are giving input, but who's responsible and who's accountable for making that change. Establishing that governance and steer code really helps. And then in our day-to-day content governance, I heard like which campaign would go where. So there we have made our internal employee communications team as the decision maker, where they look at overall company communications. It's a very important strategy internally that we don't overwhelm our employees, because we keep on hearing in employee voice surveys that it's too much information, too many places to go. So it's a very intentional effort that we have set. Like any campaign that we see on my service now that are really managed by our global communications team, the requests come from all different departments. And then we look at it as, is it the right time for this target audience to show this communication? And we manage through that. And Padma, please chime in. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you all covered. Let me go through, one example on how we dealt with what's new, which is a horizontal feature. We wanted each and every team to come and, publish their feature under what's new. Oh. Okay, so again, as Deepika mentioned, we always wanted to put the user hat and position something as, what really matters to the end user. So the way we have, created what's new page is also the intake form captures all the details. Is this a major change? How impactful it is? How many, what is the targeted audience? What is the value in terms of the magnitude that we are offering to? So all these parameters really, control what feature is going to appear at the top versus the bottom. So we wanted the feature that has the maximum impact to the, a large group of audience at the top, whereas the least impacted one at the bottom. Yeah. So with that, I think any more questions, Pooja, that we can take?
Yeah, no, this was a good one. So thank you, Deepika and Padma, for chiming in on that. Could we go back to what's new? So there were some questions coming in on how that experience can be built out of box, or like, what is being used. So Padma, Deepika, you can chime in, but out of box, this experience can be created using the content communication widgets that are available with content publishing. And the menu link that you see is something that you can again create. It's like a separate page that you are creating, adding all the rich content widget or any of the other content publishing widgets to create the page experience. And that page can then be added as a menu item and right aligned with our new mega menu configuration options that were shipped in our last release. And then the pop-up, I believe, is a standard pop-up that we have with Service Portal. Correct, Padma? You can expand on that if you're using something else.
Yeah.
We are using a mix of stuff. So like both like a standard pop-up that's part of the through Service Portal or through Now platform UI, we can do a pop-up. But we also sometimes use WalkMe as a digital adoption platform too. But on mobile, we are using our push notifications as well as our the other mobile pop-ups. Like in the last release on mobile platform, we have mobile pop-up feature that can be used for our digital adoption on mobile. But on web, we use a mix. So yeah, like I said, for guided tours is also a possibility. Yes.
Yeah, that brings me to that question on the tours that Padma, the screen that you popped up. So people were also asking what is being used for that. If you would just go to the interactive walkthroughs slide. Yeah. So I believe you are using something around WalkMe for this, but this experience can be generated using guided tours, and we will share the link to guided tours shortly on chat. But this experience can be created using guided tours.
Yeah, so we are working to standardize the overall digital adoption enablement across. And yeah, so it's right now in overall organization, there are multiple things being used. So we are working to standardize using our own platform guided tours as well as Now platform pop-ups.
Awesome. And then let me just double check if you're missing any other question. And then someone was asking the push notifications, if that is available only on mobile, or do you also do it on portal, and what is out of box? So I know out of box we have it for mobile, and we don't have it currently for portal. Anything that you want to add to that, Deepika, Padma?
Yeah, as Pooja mentioned, we are using push notifications that is available out of the box for mobile. On the portal, we have created a notification center, a basically in-app experience that provides a feed of all the notifications. So that's a custom created feature at this point of time. Yeah, I know for sure that is in the product roadmap.
Awesome. Thank you, Padma.
Maybe one thing that I would like to add, this is Rohan. We do also support some other notifications like the MS Teams, if that's where your question was. So outside the portal, there are MS Teams kind of notifications and alerts that we also send. Plus,
Yeah.
email is the other channel as well.
Yep. Thanks for that call out, Rohan. Yes, we do have notifications across channels. So you have MS Teams notification, we have email notifications that can be sent for content being pushed on the portal. And we also have SMS notifications if you have that integration built in. So, like, we don't have a consolidated notification on portal yet, but there's a lot of different things that you could try out with notifications. One more question before we proceed. Someone was asking if would you like how customized would you say the current experience of my service now is, and if you want to just comment on like where do you see it going forward to be?
Yeah, so the current experience, it's based out of Employee Center Pro. So it's looking a bit different because we have implemented our own internal branding, our colors, look and feel, all of that. This is all CSS work that you would see. But the features, majority of the features are available out of the box in EC Pro. And where we are going is all orchestration, automation, Gen AI, I'm talking about our internal roadmap. So any use case that we look at, we are the lens we are putting is how do we enable productivity. So with my service now being that front door into all of our digital applications for all employee personas for whatever role they play, as we say, it's a one-stop shop. So we are looking at how do we harmonize this experience across mobile and web, making mobile as our key channel, as well as at the same time bringing in, like, we have 3 or 4 themes for the year. One is really improving our search experience, making it we even out of the box we have Gen AI enabled, Now Assist enabled. So how can Now Assist help our employees uh, uh, have more productive work life? Then we are looking at truly a connected experience framework where all of our active items, our to-dos, your approvals and everything, this is across all enterprise applications. Like currently out of the box, we have Workday integration. I think we have launching Concur too. So similarly, we have internally done for our sales systems like our CRMs, Microsoft Dynamics, we have integrated with our financial systems. So as a people manager, we have one place to do all my approvals. As a fulfiller, I have one place to do all my tasks. As a regular employee, I have one place to get to all my learnings. I need more, machine learning driven recommendations. The system needs to be more intelligent to understand me and to give me the right content recommendations. And the fourth is really connections. Like with content experience out of the box, we are right now working to adopt news, centralized events. How do we bring in celebration experience on my service now? So that's what our internal roadmap looks like.
Thank you, Deepika. That's very helpful. And now the questions are coming towards what analytics we are using. So Padma, I will hand it back to you and let you carry forward.
Sure. That is a timely question. Okay. So with that, I'll move on to the key step in overall driving adoption, which is to measure. Like how do it is really important to have the right tool in place to measure the adoption and analyze the areas where it requires push or where we are really doing well. So we use our out-of-the-box tool, user experience analytics, to measure our adoption. The key metrics that we use are, the KPIs that we look for are the total active users. We look at monthly active users, daily active users, weekly, and we also see what is the month to month, the new users adopting our platform. Then we also look at the average session time, how it is progressing on a quite regular basis. We as a team come together, look at how we are doing on the overall, my service, adoption and the engagement. So this tool will provide a holistic, view of what are the highly adopted features. It is not just at overall the product level, but we can also register events, custom events on top of the out of the box available features to track the adoption at the feature level or even at the page level. So we can track what are the features that are being highly adopted or engaged versus the features, that are not really doing well. We can also really deep dive into the user journey and see where is the friction point, blocking really the adoption or the engagement for that specific feature. So this is the tool that we use. Yeah, I greatly encourage you guys to go and explore this tool and make best use of it. With that, I'll pass it on to Pooja to cover key takeaways from this session.
Thank you, Padma. So just to summarize everything that we've been hearing, and we'll take questions more. I want to go back to what Deepika was saying in the beginning. Like everything starts by making sure you have the right product that solves for the right user need. So you have to think about why that change is being made. In case of my ServiceNow story, they had a clear value proposition of why they are going through this whole rebranding exercise of making it my ServiceNow, something that they could measure and something that would resonate with their stakeholders. And then once they had that, they had the right product, they knew what they're trying to solve for, then it comes down to driving activation of that change with a systematic change management approach. So the systematic part is essentially what, again, Deepika was talking about, with a robust change management plan that starts with leadership alignment and everything that you are doing with your leaders, and then continues with a lot of reinforcement, with again continuous communication, engagement, input, and then lastly with measuring and sustaining that. And then Padma was kind of winding up with the whole point of having the right metrics to evaluate adoption. Now, we didn't dwell super deep in the how part of like what exact metrics, because it depends on what really you are measuring. But the user experience analytics tool is super powerful to help you understand literally the user behavior on the portal or any other thing that you're using user experience analytics for. It can also be used for mobile. Someone was asking if they have more than 2 portals, can we use it for both? Yes, you can. You can even do page level analytics on it and go so on. So super powerful tool. Now, Padma, if you can just go to the next slide. I want to make sure people are aware. This discussion doesn't have to end today. We have a very active community product hub. I encourage you to continue posting your questions over there, review questions that have been posted over there and get answers. We will also pick up all of the questions that have not been answered in this session, and we will post an FAQ around on this session, again on community. So I definitely encourage you to go there. I see a lot of questions around technical implementation of different features, whether it is mega menu, AI search, or any of those, or even manager hub. I would suggest attending the Employee Center Deployment Office Hour. This is again a monthly session, but one that doesn't come with a presentation, and it is completely focused on answering your questions. So it's literally a Q&A panel. So please attend that. It is every last Tuesday of a month, so it is coming soon. It's on January 30th. If you're focused on communications, we also have a communications office hour, which is again a monthly. We literally have many members of our engineering and product team attend, so we can take your questions and answer those. It's a great learning exercise for us also, because we are learning from your experiences and seeing what gaps we can help close. There were questions around roadmap, whether we have changes coming in on XYZ or whatever. We have a roadmap webinar that is done every quarter that talks about what is about to come in the next release. So again, something that I would say look out for. I think we are among the few product teams in ServiceNow who are literally sharing the roadmap months in advance. So I would suggest you to join this webinar. It's a really cool way to plan your deployment and make sure you are not customizing for things that would be available out of box pretty soon. And then last but not the least, today was an exciting session. We heard from our customer zero, which is ServiceNow, we call it Now and Now, and how they drive like portal adoption, what their portal looks like, what are the strategies they are using to get users more engaged on the portal. We actually do this with many of our other customers as well. And that's the last event that you see on the bottom right. It's the employee center customer show and tell webinars. So we will have one of our esteemed customers join us, talk about how they implemented, what their governance look like, how did they build their taxonomy, and so on, and answer your questions and share their experiences. So really good way to get help. So I definitely encourage you to take advantage of this. And before I pause and take any additional questions, one more slide, Padma, if you just go. Thank you. I do want to thank you all for attending this Academy session. And I want to remind you that this is a monthly session and we'll be back again next month. And next month, we will be talking about integrated experience and service feedback, which is really tied with what we spoke about today and is a new capability that is coming in February. It is essentially how you can capture in the moment feedback from users across different pages and all the services that they are requesting and trying to access via the portal. So it will be a very cool session. We will deep dive into the new technical capability and answer your questions around this. With that, thank you. And those who want to stay on for a couple more minutes while we answer the questions in the Q&A panel, you are more than welcome to. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day. Thank you.